So the internet penetration in India currently is 462 million. This is up 30% from last year. Now let's talk about what is driving this internet penetration and increase in it. There are three large macro trends which is driving the increase in internet penetration and usage. The first one is video marketing. Now what has changed in the world of video marketing is every consumer, everybody from the public has become an actor, a director, a music director and a broadcaster. Now let me explain what do I mean by that. With the advent of video platforms like YouTube and also the increase in video capabilities of mainstream platforms like Facebook and Twitter acquired Periscope, everybody has today to just own a mobile phone and they can become a content broadcaster. What we are also going to see an increase in is the rise of storytelling and content marketing in video. Brands are no more only going to be content with working with large advertising agencies, but they are also going to work at new age producers like the Viral Video, the Viral Fever, TVF or AIB. Truly Madly Deeply is a great example of a brand which has worked with a content producer to create a great viral ad, and you're going to see more and more of that. Influencer marketing is a concept which was very popular for the last couple of years, but brands are going to now start distinguishing between real influencers and influencers who've just paid to increase their followers and their reach. And brands which get influencer marketing very well are going to break new bounds. Content marketing is going to be very, very important. What drives content is not competition from other brands, but content marketing basically competes with everybody's boring, mundane lives. So if your content is interesting and it's not really an ad, what most brands forget is that people don't watch ads, they watch stories, and at times the stories happen to be ads. If you can create stories and also give out an advertorial message, your content is going to work. And most brand marketers will choose to remember this in 2016 and make it really big. Social commerce is going to be really big. 2014 and 15 saw Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest and many other platforms introduce the buy button. What is very interesting is while Google might be the largest search engine, where contextual search happens is not Google, but it's actually Facebook. Facebook is the most contextualized search you can imagine. So if I were to ask a question on whether this movie is worth buying or not, only friends who understand me, who are connected to me, and who know what my interests are going to respond. Now that is contextual search. With buy being introduced, the same contextual search will allow you to transact on Facebook, will allow you to transact on Pinterest. And we already see a lot of clothing brands and a lot of food brands doing that on Pinterest and Instagram. Still to take off in India, but I'm hoping 2016 will change that. Absolutely. So personalization first came into being in 2000 when Amazon introduced the recommendation engine. And Amazon's recommendation engine was a complete game changer. It started telling you people who bought this book also bought other books. People who read this also read this. And the whole Amazon shopping experience was very, very deeply personalized. Looking at your login habits, looking at your past shopping behavior, looking at your shipping history. Now more and more brands are getting into an era of highly personalized recommendations. The leading verticals in this are travel, food, entertainment. These are the three verticals where you see deep personalization. In terms of B2B, we at HCL are doing very, very interesting things. The experience on our website is completely personalized. So if you're a bank coming to hcltech.com, all the content changes, all the creatives change, all the case studies change, and your experience is absolutely personalized. The personalization also changes depending on whether you're a new visitor or a repeat visitor, whether you're a customer or a prospect. Actually, why don't you go to HCL Tech and try that and see for yourself? That's a very, very interesting question. Crowdsourcing is fundamentally changing the way business is constructed today. If you look at the whole value chain, starting from research, going on to development, going down to supply chain, marketing, sales, and after-sales service, crowdsourcing is impacting all parts of the value chain. Today, you can crowdsource product ideas and create everything from clothes to movies and develop it. You can crowdsource supply chain recommendations. Kurkure did something very interesting a couple of years ago where it encouraged users to find any place where Kurkure was out of stock and just tweet it with a location and a picture. And they promised to deliver Kurkure through that retail shelf within 48 hours. So that was crowdsourcing supply chain stockouts, stockout information and using that to re-engineer and make supply chain more demand driven. Crowdsourcing is also changing the way marketing advertisements are being generated. Earlier, advertising was all about brand managers going to agencies, giving them a brief, and coming up with campaigns. Now, a lot of content is being generated by users. So, your brand is not only controlled by the brand manager, but the brand today is owned by the consumers. And if you really use the power of consumer driven content, consumer generated content, crowdsourcing can work beautifully in amplifying your reach and amplifying the beauty of the content which is created around the brand. Once brands have built a loyal fan following on their social media platforms, they can use this fan following in many ways. Conventional ways are to serve them offers and serve offers which are very, very relevant and targeted and personalized for the followers. But there are many unconventional ways also to use this fan following. What a lot of brands are guilty of is not following what I call the jab hook methodology, which means they are guilty of always trying to sell to people who follow them on social platforms. What brands have to remember is if you're not engaging with people who are following you, which is jab, you can't give them a hook, which is an offer. So brands should always remember you have to be relevant to the consumer's life, you have to be engaging, and then when you serve them an offer, they will lap it up. See, most companies are evaluating the power and the ROI on social media by looking at last mile attribution. They're looking at when your sales happened, where did the user click, and they're giving it 100% weightage. Now, last mile attribution is good for very, very nascent social media adapters, but it's not the right way to go about it from a very evolved digital marketing perspective. I would strongly recommend marketers to actually use either Omnitude or Google Analytics Premium and do multi-channel attribution, because it is absolutely unfair to attribute the last click 100% of weightage. And today in social media, you can attribute the success throughout the funnel. So starting from top of the funnel metrics, which are around awareness, number of impressions, down to clicks, which is more around engagement or shares, finally down to people commenting and actually transacting and buying from there. That's the way I would look at social media metrics. So HCL is a $7 billion company and we operate in 32 countries. We sell very complex IT and business consulting projects to Global 2000 and Fortune 500 companies. What has really worked very well for us in digital is the concept of building communities. Today we own a community called Straight Talk, which is a very exclusive community of C-level professionals. We have a CIO Straight Talk, which has Chief Information Officers. We have a CTO Straight Talk, which has Chief Technology Officers, and we have a Beyond Digital Straight Talk, which has everybody participating in digital transformation, right from Chief Experience Officers to Chief Analytics Officers to Chief Digital Officers. Community building as a concept in digital marketing is a great way to do influencer marketing. You create a community around like-minded people and like-minded interests, and you should have a very, very good community manager. If you look at our Straight Talk platform, we've been running it for 5 years. And it's a great platform to actually get insights on C-suite behavior, engage with them with content which is very relevant. And I would strongly recommend marketers to try community marketing as a way to do influencer marketing. So if you look at HCL Tech's positioning, it's a relationship beyond the contract. Now, there are two ways we could have gone to market with this. One is created advertisements which are about HCL and how we have gone beyond the contract. We took a contrarian approach, and our approach to take our brand campaign to market was completely based on storytelling. So we figured out all the stories in the world where two people were good individually, but when they came together, magic happened and their relationship actually drove them to success. If you look at Edmund and Hillary, individually both were great mountaineers, but when they came together, they scaled Mount Everest. So there are many such stories which HCL has found, and we are using these stories to take our campaign of relationship beyond the contract to market. Consumers are lapping it up, they are engaging with these stories, and they are sharing examples of them and their lives where they've gone beyond the contract. The pivotal element in HCL's digital marketing strategy is either being best in class or being first in class. We've always looked at campaigns which have not been done earlier by other teams, other companies. If you look at our campaign called Coolest Interview Ever, which we did two years ago, it was world's first campaign which actually did an end-to-end recruitment process on Twitter. So not only did we seek applications on Twitter, but we also got people to apply. We conducted the interview process on Twitter, and we finally rolled out an offer letter on Twitter. This campaign won a lot of awards. Last year, we ran a campaign called A Mile for Her, which actually encouraged everybody to run a mile for the most important woman in their lives. This again was shared widely, and about 90,000 people participated in the campaign. So our campaigns are always going to be about best in class, which is doing something which people have never done ago, or being first in class, which is actually setting the benchmark on a platform. So our digital journey started about 6-7 years ago. When we started our digital journey, I would consider us to be one of the pioneers. Not many people in the industry or in our company understood the power of digital. And go back 7 years ago. So my first challenge was actually convincing everybody that digital is going to be very important, and it will allow us to do very, very deep, demand-driven, focused, targeted marketing using the data sets we have. That was the first challenge. So how do you convert a bunch of non-believers into believers? The second challenge was actually hiring, and go back again 7 years ago, there wasn't much talent in the industry. So actually hiring people and then converting them into data-driven digital marketers. Third challenge is always ROI and convincing people that digital is a very, very effective way to do lead generation. And it's not only meant to be used for social media marketing and brand awareness campaigns. So these are the three challenges which we faced while we were. HCL Tech today is a brand finance top 500 brand. It's a brand which has global reach. So for us, success in digital means digital should not only help in taking the brand message out and increasing our top of mind recall, aided recall, unaided recall, but it should also help in lead generation. And we are very, very happy with the way lead generation has worked for HCL. Last year, our website was responsible for $1.5 billion of qualified funnel generation, which is pretty spectacular. So the biggest skill gap I see in the current breed of digital marketers is they completely lack business understanding. What they should understand is digital is a way to achieve an objective. The objective being business goals. It could be customer satisfaction, it could be increase in sales, it could be gain in market share. I would strongly recommend upcoming digital marketers to understand the industry context in which they are operating. They could be working in an insurance firm or a travel firm or an IT firm. First step is actually understanding the business. The second skill gap which I see is most digital marketers today don't understand marketing technology, MarTech. If you don't understand marketing technology and you only are a specialist in search engine optimization or social media, you really won't understand concepts like a single view of the customer, and your campaigns won't be able to use a lot of interesting technology elements which are in play today. The third skill gap which I actually see in digital marketers is they like to think of themselves as digital marketers, forgetting that the second part of digital marketing is marketing. If you don't understand the basic concepts of marketing like market research, consumer behavior, you're really not going to be a successful digital marketer. So my recommendation to digital marketers here would be plan like there is tomorrow and execute like there is no tomorrow. You have to learn to be bimodal marketers and be very, very comfortable not only in planning campaigns, but also using data to optimize campaigns, which basically means you need to be full stock marketers. So understand business objectives, understand marketing objectives, create digital marketing objectives, create plans around it, execute those programs, and finally use the data to optimize the campaigns. If you're not doing this end to end, you're only doing a part of it, and you will never be able to understand whether your plans were successful, why were they successful, which areas did they fail in. So I would strongly recommend digital marketers to be T-shaped marketers. Now let me explain what are T-shaped marketers. Imagine the alphabet T. So there is a broad sense of, there is a stem which goes horizontally and there is a very deep vertical stem. So you might be a specialist in search engine optimization or social media marketing or email marketing, but you really need to understand all the other components of digital marketing as well. Now the reason why that's important is often a campaign will have multiple elements where your element, which is email marketing or SEO, is just one of the channels in play. So if you're not a T-shaped marketer, being very comfortable, at least being very well aware of other tactics other than yours, you will really not be able to contribute effectively to the campaign. So the way I look at it, in the next couple of years, there are only going to be two kinds of marketers, either digital marketers or extinct marketers. It is going to become very, very important for everybody to acquire digital marketing skills. It's going to be a foundational skill. Like if you go back 20 years ago, 30 years ago, people used to learn typing and you couldn't get a job if you didn't know typing. Then it became computer literacy skills like Microsoft Excel and PowerPoint. Today, digital marketing is going to be a fundamental foundational skill. Whether you are in sales or marketing, digital marketing is going to be a critical part of your armory. In sales, social selling is going to become very important. Most sellers who don't understand the power of social media to actually execute and pursue opportunities are going to struggle. Similarly, for marketers who are not willing to reinvent themselves and learn digital marketing, they are going to struggle because more and more media spend is going to move to digital. So the good or bad thing about online is there are a lot of opinions. Opinions are fast, they are cheap, and they're deadly. It's very, very important for marketers who want to be digital marketers to find forums or online platforms like Upgrad which have very, very high degree of curated content. The content is validated, verified, updated. If you don't do that and you just end up reading blogs or you end up looking at videos which are completely free, you might come across videos or blogs which are very outdated. You might treat them as gospel and you might end up learning them. So the first step is actually finding a platform which is verified, validated and curated. The second step is actually following influencers and digital marketing experts on Twitter, on LinkedIn, reading their blogs. This is very, very critical because digital marketing as a profession is like being a lawyer or being a doctor. Everything keeps changing, and if you're not updated with the latest, you're going to be left behind. So depending on whether you are a legacy marketer trying to learn digital marketing or whether you are an early stage digital marketer with 0 to 3 years of experience, the 3 sections on a course like Upgrad will give you various learning objectives. The first section should actually tell you what are the basics of marketing. Think of it like Marketing 101, which tells you on what is the marketing funnel, what are the various kind of marketing channels, what is consumer behavior. The second section should take you through various techniques in digital marketing and should make you very well conversant with search engine optimization, should make you very well conversant with social media marketing, etc. After the end of the third section, you should become very comfortable and become a data-driven marketer. You should be able to use data being churned out by various digital marketing techniques and use that to take smarter marketing decisions. Those are the learning outcomes you should expect when you sign up for a course like Upgrad.